Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am so thankful to be here. First of all, I want to thank the Lord because there was a possibility that I wouldn't be here, but He's blessed me to come through many dangers and toils and snares, and I'm here today, and I'm very thankful. Thank you, Jason, for inviting me, and I really appreciate your asking me to talk about overcoming, how to overcome. And finally, not finally, but next, my husband, JC, as you all know, thank you also for just being a man who is always open to learn and who is kind and generous. And it's just, you have been a blessing, and I'm thankful that you're the father of my children. And I'm just thankful for these 47 years of knowing me and then us being married 46. I also want to recognize the minister and his wife, Valerie, Brother Duncan and Sister Valerie, just jewels, people that are just jewels.
Amen.
And all the things that, it's just amazing how God leads your path in life, and He brought us here. People they're like, why you guys moved to Arkansas? We didn't really know fully, but I know now that part of the big purpose was for us to meet Duncan and Valerie and their beautiful family and their grandchildren. So thank you, and I want to begin to talk about how to overcome. First of all, what does overcome mean? It means to succeed in dealing with a problem or something that's difficult. It means that we can defeat whatever this obstacle is in front of us. We can have victory. We can win. How many people in here want to win in life? I think everybody does. Okay, I want everybody to stand up. I'm going to do a short exercise. It's very simple. And what I want you to do is put your right hand in front of you, and then hold your left hand on it like this, and put your finger out like this. And turn to the right. Just go really slow, as far as you can. Don't move your feet. Just go as far as you can. And then look at the tip of your finger and see where it is. Okay, now let's bring it back to the front. Okay, arms down. Now I want you to think just for a few seconds that I'm going to go further than I went that time. All you're going to do is think. You're not going to practice, just think it. See in your mind, I was like about here, but I'm envisioning going further. That's all I'm doing. So I want you to think about what you saw and say, I'm going to go further. Okay, let's try it again. Right hand, put your finger out. Go slowly, slowly. Just keep going. And see if you didn't go further than you went the first time. I went further. And the reason I want you to do this exercise is I went to a conference one time and they gave us this exercise. And it has really stuck with me in those times when I feel like I can't go any further. I feel like I can't overcome. When you envision in your mind that what it is that you're trying to get to, that goal you're trying to get to, we have to be able to visualize it. We have to believe that we can do it. I want to share with you the life stages of a butterfly. Everybody knows what a butterfly is. This is something I want to share with you about how to overcome. A butterfly begins, of course, it's come from an egg from the butterfly, but when that egg comes to life, it's a caterpillar. Most people think it's ugly. There's always one in the crowd who thinks it's beautiful. But most people think that's just really ugly. It's gross, it has these prickly things on it, and it's like, yuck. That's about your best expression you can have for that. Then it goes into the cocoon stage where it kind of becomes liquefied, and then that liquid gets hard. It starts to harden, it starts to get crusty. Then you finally, after so many months, that chrysalis is thin, and inside there, that thing has developed into a butterfly. And the butterfly is at a crucial point where the wings have developed and they start to push, and they start to push, and they start to push, and eventually it breaks through that chrysalis. Then you have this beautiful butterfly that shows the world its beauty. This is how it is to overcome. Sometimes we're in something that's ugly, and then the next stage it seems to get worse. It seems like in the cocoon, it seems like it's dark. You can't even see where there's hope. You feel like, I'm just gonna throw the towel in. We've been going over this for long. I've tried this, I've tried that. It's not working. I'm just gonna give up. But what I want to remind you of today is that the pushing of those wings is that thing that's stressing us, the thing that's feeling terrible. But each day that we get up, each day we keep taking a step forward, we're getting stronger. Mm-hmm. That pushing is strengthening our wings. Yes. When we're done with that process, then we can become an example to the world and people around us. They look at you and it's like, how did you do it? But there is a way that I want to share with you to help you. This is how overcoming has happened in my life. There's so many things. First of all, I want to share with you these quotes. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. When we change the way we look at things we look at change. Mm-hmm. As a man thinketh, so is he, Proverbs 23:7. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. That's Henry Ford. We are spirits on a physical journey of purpose. God breathed into mankind the breath of life in Genesis 3. Our mindset must be that we believe. We just had Harriet Tubman come through here. This is one of the people that believed that she could not only get free herself, but she continued to go back and save other people from slavery. The reason we want to overcome our obstacles is to get to a goal. And her goal was to get more people free. Mm-hmm. Martin Luther King was to offer civil rights, which black people did not have. Mm-hmm. Mary McLeod Bethune, she was a slave. She went from a slave to becoming a president of a college which she established. Mm-hmm. She knew that education was a way for us to come up. Mm-hmm. That was why she had to overcome slavery so she could get to the educating of our people. Dr. Fred Gray, who is a brother in Christ, was the attorney for Rosa Parks. We just heard Sister Maxine do Rosa Parks. They had a goal of having equal rights to even just sit on a bus. The things that seemed the simplest things, but they had to overcome the racism in this society. How has believing changed my life? Well, at first, I would say as a child, I was brought up in a family of believers, and I was blessed in that way. But as I became older, you get married and have children, you facing things in life you never thought you would face, and you started saying, God, where are you? And I read about you being with Moses and Joseph in the Bible, but where are you in my life? But I began to read it and understand for myself at an early age. And Jesus told us that if we had just the faith that the size of a mustard seed, that he could do great things with that. Sure. So that's why I started with a faith that was just as small as a mustard seed. But he gave me the strength to go from being fearful to courageous. He gave me a blessing to find out about a sickness so that I could get through the surgery for my brain aneurysm. He brought me through depression. That was for years. It wasn't just like a one-time depression. It was years of depression to joy. From suffering in silence to asking for help. From negative thinking, which is down thinking, to thinking up. I started with just a mustard seed of faith. The key thing of all these things I just listed is thinking up. This is the how. When you're dealing with any situation in your life, what is it that you can do to overcome? These are things that we face. Self-hate, from self-hate to self-love. How do we get there? That key of thinking up is love. Begin to change how we talk to ourselves, our self-talk. I hear ladies all the time, oh, I'm just so stupid. And if I hear them, I try to say something to help them understand that maybe you're disappointed in what you did, but let's change that self-talk to a loving talk to yourself. I made a mistake. I'm going to learn from that. Just keep on going. From poverty to legacy wealth, we have to believe we can do it. Madam C.J. Walker, that was one of the names named. We didn't get a chance to see that particular part of the skit. But she was a woman who, she was coming out of slavery like all the other black people around her. But she had a vision to have, huge wealth. She was a millionaire. That was a lot of money back then. We can go from closed minds to creativity, from isolation to asking for help. Looking up is, when we are asking for help, is to realize there is hope. Even if you feel like there's no hope. Many times we need to ask somebody for help. Somebody who's been through the things that we've been through. Broken families. Let's go from broken families to strong families that face challenges together. It's within us being married 46 years, of course, we've had our challenges. But one of the things we had to use as a key was thinking up. Our families we came from were not ideal as far as how our parents got along, etc. But we said we wanted to create a better life. So we told each other, I think it was maybe before 5 years, that we had to keep that D word out of our conversation, and that is divorce. That is not something that's an option for us. Thank you. It's not an option for us. We had to think up and say, God, there's been other people on the path just like us. Show us those people. We start finding classes, workshops, even personal counseling. I went into my own personal counseling later on, JC did. That has helped us to overcome negative thinking about marriage and how difficult those problems can be. We look at those problems now as adventures. So it's like when something comes up, we're like, okay, what are we gonna do about this? And so we kind of make a challenge of it, a game of these challenges instead of just letting it drag us down. And what drags us down is that thinking. So that up thinking says, we can do this. First of all, we can do it because we're Christians, but we can also learn new ways. We had to learn how to communicate. We were both very smart. That's one of the things that attracted us to each other. But once we got married, he's talking, I'm responding, I'm like, what is he talking about? Why is he upset? Then I'm talking, it's like, how come he doesn't understand what I'm saying? And it's like, when we were dating, man, it seemed like those conversations were just perfect. And it's, you can get really frustrated with that, but we had to ask for help. And that's one of the things that we must do, is use that up thinking to guide us into opening new doors to get to places in our relationship that we never could have made it without the help. We can move from sexism against women and girls to appreciating and supporting our girls. And up thinking about girls, some people, many of you probably heard this statement. Women, you can't have a bunch of women in a place that can't get along. And I just want to say that I truly believe and have experienced women working together. One of the places I've learned and experienced that is right here at Southside. I have seen so many women that we have different skills, different abilities, different personalities. I'm telling you, it's just amazing how we work together. And it is possible for women to work together. And we also need to make sure that we encourage each other, saying kind words to each other, saying something that we see that's good about someone. It's so easy to just throw a word out and say something ugly about somebody. But when you make that small effort to just say, you look so nice today, it can just lift somebody's spirits. You don't know what they're dealing with. Also, we can go from brokenness in our emotions to healing. One of the main things dealing with healing is thinking. That's why it's so important to think up. Mm-hmm. And then also from male bashing to appreciating and encouraging men and boys. Our black men and black boys have a tough way to go in this United States of America. And we know that even within these past few years, it's kind of like back to where Rosa Parks was almost in some ways. And you can feel very unsafe in this world. But we need to encourage our black men and boys. We need to go from spending to investing. Mm-hmm. We have to think, I can learn how to invest. We can go from division to working together. Because one of the things that we must do, and we hear this a lot, is black folks can't work together. We hear that. And I know that that is not true, but if you believe the positive, you believe up, then you can do it. Now, is it going to be every black person? No. But it can be possible for us to work together with those who are like-minded. We need to go from child abuse and neglect to loving and training our children. And some of us don't know how because we just never learned how to be a parent. But none of us had the book that guided us along the way to be parents. But we've learned, and there are parents who've learned things to help you. Just reach out to someone, and you can get help. There's so many things, but one of the last things is going from fear to faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the person next to you, faith in each other, faith in God that He can give us what we need to overcome. What will happen if I fail? What if I fail in trying to think up and trying to believe and to overcome? Well, one of the things we can do is change that word fail to lesson. And if we learn a lesson from the things that don't turn out the way we think, we can just use it as a stepping stone. We can get up, dust yourself off, and start over again. Mm-hmm. One thing I discovered through when I was going through a lot of negative thinking is that when I would mess up and then I would beat myself up, then I would feel down because that's never going to make you feel good. Then I had to build myself back up from feeling beat down because I failed. But when I started looking at those things as lessons, it's like a light goes on. It's like, oh yeah, I could do that differently. And then dust myself off and begin again. What will happen when we overcome? You will see the beauty that your life has. You will be able to have gratitude, and living with gratitude, it just brings more and more good things to your life. You will also be an example of how to win and how to overcome for others. Just like the caterpillar was transformed into a beautiful butterfly, people will see, wow, what a difference that young man's life was, what a difference that young lady's life has been. It's so different now. I hope that each one of you would decide today just to begin to think up and experience victory. To pray about it, and the Lord will give you everything you need to succeed. Remember that going further exercise that we did, you can go further than you think. Mm-hmm. You can go further than you think. Now I want each person to repeat after me. I can overcome. I can overcome. Now tell the person next to you, you can overcome. You can overcome. Now let's say it together. We can overcome. We can overcome. And we shall overcome. I want to end with this last words from the Bible. Psalm 121, 1 and 2. I will lift up my eyes to the hills from where my strength comes from. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Amen, amen, amen.
You gotta go to the mic. You gotta go to the mic.
In behalf of the Southside family, and as you minister and serve us the Lord, and my lovely wife, Valerie. We thank you so much for that presentation and telling us what we need to do that I said. God bless you. You have been such a blessing to this church. Husband, I tell you, I don't know what we would do without you. God bless you. We love you so much. Let's give Sister Glenda Thomas a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, let's have a word from our one.